that as persons with disability, we are mostly affected by these issues of Maandamano. In violence, we are not able to run faster. Some of us may not be able to see where the enemies are coming from. Those who are blind, those who are deaf may not be able to hear tear gases being launched. So we appeal to the whole opposition and also government to have the bipartisan talks and agree, because we can, as persons with disability, risk going into violence.
Tax ambayo inatoshwa vitu zote ambazo mnatumia ziondolewe. Sasa serikali ni yenu, zimeondolewa?
Today is a disability walk. And those who don't know Cries International Hospital is the hospital that is in charge of East and Central Africa in terms of corrective surgeries. It does surgeries across the whole of Africa. I'm a beneficiary of this hospital. Before I came to this hospital when I was 12 years old, I was crawling. But courtesy of the surgery that undertook here, I can now walk upright, even though with a swag. But it is okay, and so many have benefited. So far, they have performed more than 400,000 corrective surgeries across East Africa and even some part of Africa. We are here to raise funds because the list is quite huge, and that there are people who are waiting. There have been elective surgeries that have been planned, yet there may not be funds to be able to fund those corrective surgeries. So today, our executive director have led us in a walk so that we can raise awareness and also appeal for assistance. So far, you know, persons with disability in this country don't pay taxes. The aim of that was for them to be able to use the taxes that they were supposed to pay to buy assistive devices. Also, we exempt all equipments that are supposed to be used by persons with disability, but due process have to be followed. Sometimes our officers are not doing due diligence. Some people want to corrupt the system so that they import vehicles in containers and claim that they are assistive devices, probably put a few wheelchairs and masquerade as their assistive devices. So due diligence must be followed, but in our disability charter with the UDA, which is now the ruling party, we agreed that all equipments that are supposed to be used by persons with disability should be exempted. Again, we agreed in the disability charter that all equipments that will be used by Cries International, because it is specifically for corrective surgeries, will be exempted from taxes, and we have always talked with the executive director. She have gone to the treasury, and some have been exempted, some have not been exempted, but we are in the process to make sure that they're exempted. We are also in the process to make sure that we support Cries International Hospital as a government in terms of financing, because we finance National Council for Persons with Disability, we finance so many other institutions. I think it is time for us to have Cries International also have some government sponsorship. So that is where we are at the moment. But as I said during the interview there, that as persons with disability, we are mostly affected by these issues of Maandamano. In violence, we are not able to run faster. Some of us may not be able to see where the enemies are coming from. Those who are blind, those who are deaf may not be able to hear tear gases being launched. So we appeal to the whole opposition and also government to have the bipartisan talks and agree, because we can, as persons with disability, risk going into violence. In 2007, so many of us suffered, and our numbers increased because there are those who are maimed and they join us. And you know, sisi hata wale ambao tulivunjika kitambo hatujatosheka na ile benefit yenye tunapatiwa na serikali. Kwa hivyo hatutaki competition, hatutaki watu wengine watu join. So we appeal to those not to go for maandamano. And you know, as I told you, as a Maasai, for me, maandamano, you know, I cannot support, because especially when the issue of kuweka sufuria kwa kichwa. Unajua kichwa na sufuria imebakisha kuni ikuwe supu. Sasa mimi siwezi support kitu kama hiyo.
Kuna tetezi kuwa kuna makundi ambayo yanataka kuingizwa kwa hiyo bipartisan. Labda maoni yako ni yapi? Kanisa inasema ingizwe, human rights hao wote wanasema wakubalishwe pia kuingia katika maongeo hayo.
Article 1 of our constitution. The sovereignty of this country lies with the citizen. They delegated that sovereignty to their elected leaders. So already our leaders have the delegated powers from churches because they are voters, from all regions because they voted, from all tribes because every tribe in this country voted, and they elected those leaders. And through an election, you have delegated your individual power to that individual you have elected as an MCA, as a member of parliament, as a president, and so on. So they can go and have bipartisan talks on our behalf because we have already delegated our powers. The other time that we will delegate powers is 2027. So if you don't trust the members of parliament who are currently in parliament to represent you in bipartisan talks, please wait for 2027, elect those you trust. Because that is our constitution. That our constitution, all of us cannot be in parliament. Our constitution, all of us cannot be heads of state. All of us cannot come and sit in a room. Because if you purport that we need another person to come and be involved in bipartisan talks, who elected you? Who delegated the powers to you to be able to talk on their behalf? You are a church leader. We really respect you. Please, you will be in charge and you'll go on with your work efficiently. Politician will not interfere. You are a professor, go to the lecture hall, continue lecturing and tell them that some of these MPs need to be voted out in 2027. But meanwhile, they are the ones that power of the people have been delegated to, and they are supposed to hold the bipartisan talks on our behalf.
Do you have people in mind maybe who you're looking forward to work with, especially in leadership team? Maybe you're looking forward to work with them to support you?
In person stability?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Like now, today we had Anne Mratha, who was here. She have worked with us. She also have a kitty in National Government Affirmative Action Fund. So we are looking upon all women representatives because they have NGAF, all those who have CDF, to be able to support at least one child or two to be brought to Cure International for corrective surgeries. We appeal to national government and even county government that whenever you have that kitty for bursary and for hospital, please let us consider person with disability. And it's also high time that all children born with corrective deformities should be covered through NHIF by our government, so that when they come to Cure International, the corrective surgery is done and it is covered by NHIF, so that we don't go again doing fundraisings and asking donors. You know, even donors are now suffering from donor fatigue. They supported me. It is donors that supported me when corrective surgery was done on me. So I don't think up to for 40 years, they are still willing to continue supporting. They are also suffering from donor fatigue. The government should come in. It is now a stable government. It should come in.
Maybe in terms of statistics, when we talk of figures, maybe could you paint the picture nationally of those living with disability, and what do you say regarding activity like this for today, maybe in terms of trying to mobilize for funds on the same?
Yes, like those who need corrective surgery in Kenya are close to 500,000. That is 500,000. Those who, with corrective surgery, they will no longer be person with disability and they will not compete with us in the little benefit that are given by the government to us. So surely it's a huge number, and currently it is either courtesy of donors, it is either parents, fundraising, and so on. So I think the government should actually come in. And I've told you that the government can come in very many ways. One, NHIF cover. We are giving severely disabled persons an NHIF cover through the government. So I think also those who need corrective surgery, so that at the end of the day, they will not be liability to the government. Imagine a person who, when corrective surgery is performed, will no longer need crutches, will no longer need that bursary, because he's no longer a person with disability. So eventually, it will even be cheaper for the government just to pay this one off as a corrective surgery. And again, I've said we can also approach this in terms of CDF, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, National Council for Persons with Disability Fund. You know, the government have a lot of funds, county government funds, so that if every county government allocate 20 million for corrective surgery, you know, that is enough money to be able to cover majority of those children who are needy and need corrective surgery.